This video is going to be a little bit interesting because it's going to feature two projects that I did with my husband. Now, we don't work together all that often on projects because we have very different styles. First of all, my husband is very independent and he likes to just kind of get things done without a lot of fuss or fanfare. I'm very impatient and I want everything done yesterday. Also, when he works, he's very focused and serious and very much like on target with the task at hand. You know, I want to chat, I want to get a glass of water, I want to, just say how nice everything looks, and I go off in la la land. So together we're kind of like peanut butter and orange juice. Like when we work together, yeah, not super in sync. We're great in other ways, but yeah. So anyway, I'm going to show you two projects that we did together. One is a little more extensive and it is our wallpapering project. This is something that was in the works for such a long time. And I actually realized I have never ordered wallpaper for my home as an adult, or I guess ever, but I certainly didn't order wallpaper as a child. I've always been a little bit fearful of wallpaper, even though I really like it for the most part. And I think that's because of my childhood trauma of wallpaper. I won't really talk about my experiences with like raised up, velvety feeling avocado green wallpaper because that's too difficult to talk about. I also had, as a child, a bedroom that was decorated by an interior decorator, Frank. His name will live in infamy, who proceeded with, of course, my mother's input and approval, proceeded to wallpaper my childhood bedroom in ginormous pink, yellow, and green flowers. And if you had asked me as a child what are my least favorite colors, I would have said in this order: pink, yellow, and green. So I always sort of equate wallpaper, I guess, with growing up in the 70s, which was not, I think we can all agree, a wonderful era of wallpaper. And I think too, something about wallpaper makes me nervous because it seems like it's going to be such a commitment, that it's really hard to put up, it's really hard to take down. And that's just not true anymore. That was true of the old wallpapers, but they're not nearly so difficult anymore. So I thought, for my hallway, I really want a wallpaper that will bring the eye up because it's not a super high ceiling. And I wanted something very muted and soft and subtle that would just give, a little extra elegance to the space. And I decided to put my fears away and just go for it. So you're going to see how all of that went. The second project is much quicker, and I won't tell you about it in advance. I'll wait until we are at that point in this video. I hope you enjoy it. I wanted to show you the hallway as it is currently. You can see the walls have been primed and we're ready to put up wallpaper. This is the second floor hallway. I cannot wait to get this wallpaper up. I've been waiting for so long. There's so many projects, you just can't do everything all at once. And I made these curtains last spring and I reupholstered this chair at the same time. So I picked this fabric to go with the wallpaper that I chose. And I just can't wait to see it all done. And here we have the spare bedroom, our guest bedroom. And up here is the stairs to the third floor. And here's the view going down the hallway. I have these grass cloth rugs, which I like the look of them. It's nice to have a neutral color in a house with so many red oriental rugs, but they feel terrible under my feet, so I'm not sure if these will ultimately stay. They also need some pads because you can see they move around, which is not good. So yeah, that's what we'll have. And then here is a little bathroom, in case you're wondering. That floor, that's a 1920s floor. We decided to keep it because it's got a kind of a cool old-fashioned look, and an old sink as well. And then if we go, oh, are you wondering what's in this little door? plumbing. Nothing interesting. I also want to show you the stairwell going from the second floor down to the first floor. It's so super damaged. We're gonna redo this very soon. I can't wait. Ugh, it's so bad. But I love a good before and after, don't you? This will definitely give us a big reveal at some point when it's done. Last year, my husband put up all of this molding and trim so it matches the rest of the house because we have this all downstairs. He put all of it up. He restored these stairs going up to the third floor, and I decided to paint them black. The wood was really damaged, so keeping it in its current state was not an option, but I thought it would look really nice with black treads, and we painted the banister black as well. And we're eventually gonna do the same treatment going from the second to the first floor. So I think that will look nice. You can see we're missing the top pieces. And there's still a little bit of painting to do. And we could also touch up some of these stairs because we've done some construction and some of the paint has chipped a little bit. We might ultimately have to put some kind of runner just to keep the paint from getting destroyed. But all in good time. And again, these pieces, my husband took them off so that he could repair them. And those will be going back. We have this Faro and Ball paint and paper. And we need to figure out how to use this wallpaper paste so that we can get started with our project. So here is the beautiful wallpaper that I chose for my project. Just kidding. I just wanted to make sure you were paying attention. Here's the real wallpaper that I chose. And here's the wallpaper. I think it's going to be very pretty, very subtle and elegant in the hallway. So I don't mean to brag, but I'm the wallpaper assistant, and it's a very important job in my own mind. Don't tell Eric. I'm so happy with how the wallpaper turned out. It was well worth the wait. And because I want to entertain you so much, I went back into my photo albums so I could find some of the lovely wallpaper that caused all of the trauma from my childhood. I wanted to share it with you. You're welcome. Okay, so we have to start with the best one. This was my horrible pink, yellow, and green wallpaper that I had as a child. And what you can't see here is the scale. So I want you to imagine that each pink flower is about the size of my head. And that will give you an idea of the vast wilderness of flowers I was living in during my childhood. Next up, we have this lovely wallpaper. I think this was from my grandmother's house. I think it was from her kitchen, maybe. But you can see it's super special and definitely groovy. Then I want to show you this beautiful hallway wallpaper featuring my brother Bruce in some really happening plaid pants. Then I'm here with our first dog, Buddy, in our kitchen with those beautiful orangey oak cabinets that are set off by that really nice sort of vegetable and fruit orange wallpaper. It was very glamorous. And then this was our hallway with the pretty avocado green wallpaper. That was a little bit feltish, a little velvety, with the nice green shag carpet to go with it. And then my youngest brother, Jay, on the orange bedspread, because who doesn't want an orange bedspread that goes with your orange wallpaper with some olive green highlights and some orange candles, because, you might as well go all out. Finally, we had some really nice, big, fat avocado and yellow flowers that were gracing the walls of our dining room. Yes, folks, the 70s were some beautiful days. I'm kind of the keeper of the family photo album, so I have all of those embarrassing photos to use against my brothers when they make me mad. It's a lot of power to have, I'm not gonna lie. But, it actually was a shame because years ago I had asked my mom where she had stored the 8mm film. I think it was 8mm from when I was a kid. And my dad had taken tons of film and all kinds of things. It was playing with our first family dog and my brothers and I getting pulled in a cart by the tractor and one of the blizzards of, I think it was 78 or something. I'd love to see all of that. And my mom told me she tossed it because she had no way of viewing it anymore. And so she thought, why have it, taking up space in the house? It was such a shame because, of course, you can get all that stuff converted. And my friend Kevin actually does that. He is very impressive. He has 2 Emmys from editing PBS shows. I actually saw one of them. It was very impressive. The Emmy isn't as big as you would think, but it definitely inspires some awe. Anyway, if you have any of those old tapes or those old films, any of those kinds of things that you wish you could view, you would like to have them converted, Kevin does all of that stuff and he can convert them into all different kinds of formats, whatever works for you. So I'm going to share his contact information. Actually, I think I'll put it in the text box so you can see it now. And then I'm also going to include it in the description box for my video. This isn't sponsored. I'm not getting a commission or anything. I just think it's one of those things that we don't always have the resources we need when we need them. And it's really a terrible shame when somebody throws out something that can't be replaced. So anyway, I hope this is helpful to you. And now on to the next project. I wanted a corkboard for my study, so I thought I'd see what I had around the house that might work. I found this dusty old frame in the basement. I decided to clean it up and see if I could make it work. After giving the frame a good clean, I applied some rub and buff to the frame to brighten it up and to hide some of the cracked pieces. I'm going to let the rub and buff dry for a couple of hours, and while I do that, I'm going to unwrap the corkboard that I bought from Amazon. It's very flimsy, like a sheet. I took the frame and supplies into the workshop in the basement and measured the frame. I marked a piece of wood that I planned to use as the back of the corkboard. With my husband's help, I used a saw to cut the board. Then I checked to make sure it fit, and it did. I traced a foam sheet that came with the corkboard as part of the packaging because I felt I needed to add some thickness to the cork sheet. And then I carefully cut it out. I traced the wood backing onto the cork sheet and cut it to the correct size. Then I used some spray adhesive to cover the wood backing, carefully making sure I got every inch of it. And then I smoothed the foam onto the back of the wood. I sprayed more adhesive strip onto the foam, and then I laid the cork sheet on top. I smoothed it out to make sure it had a strong adherence. And then again, I checked to make sure everything fit into the frame. But we realized that the cork foam and wood back together were too thick for the frame, so we had to build it up. Again, my husband helped me with this part. He used some trim strips and cut them to fit. And then glued and nailed them into place. Then we pushed the frame clips into the trim using a screwdriver because we didn't have the correct tool at hand. The screwdriver worked just fine. And then screwed the hanger onto the frame. And voila! We were finished. I hung the corkboard in the study. And it was perfect for the space. I've been using the corkboard every day. I am so happy with it, and it looks great in the study. So even though it was a lot of work and a lot of effort, it was well worth it. And if you're thinking of doing something similar, I definitely recommend it. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, please take just a moment to like it. And if you would subscribe, that would be fantastic. Oh, and as a fun aside, I was at my father-in-law's store this morning, Whatnot Shop in New Britain, and I couldn't believe it. I met someone who is a viewer of this channel. I won't share her name. She was there with her husband. They were so nice, and it was so much fun to meet someone who's actually been watching my videos and had some feedback for me, and she was so sweet and complimentary. It turns out we like all the same YouTube shows, and she was there because she had seen my video about my father-in-law's store. So I thought that was great, and it just made my day. So if you ever happen to see me out and about, please don't hesitate to say hello. Feel free to leave me a comment, and above all else, have a great day.